So, let's talk about weed.
Yeah.
I'm from California, so there, weed is legal. It is wonderful. You can get it any time of the day. It is like a smoker's heaven, okay? So, you can get weed any time of the day, but here in New York City, trying to get weed is a little bit like purgatory. It's like, sometimes it be good, sometimes it's like not good, not bad, like kind of this in between. Because you know, sometimes your dealer hits you up and they're there in 15 minutes. And then other times, you text him and then 5 hours later, he's like, yo, you still need that? And you're like, no, bro, I don't need that. I'm at work already, sober as fuck. Thanks. But you don't say that. You know why? Because if you get a weed dealer that delivers, that is a gem. You have to keep that.
Yeah.
Keep that shit, okay? So, it's also very different delivering like weed in different boroughs, okay? Like getting weed in different boroughs is very different. When I first moved here, I lived in Harlem, okay? 145th. And there, you got the drug dealers just standing outside on the corner like, hey, I got that sour, I got that OG, I got that Kush. And at first I'm like, okay, so he could easily be a cop. I'm from LA, I'm not from here, sorry. So I just keep on walking. But you know, after about a week later, seeing the same guy standing there talking about some, I got that green crack, I got that Pineapple Express, I got that Girl Scout cookie. You're like, okay, so maybe he is legit. Let me like try him, you know, and see what's up. So you get some weed from him, and in LA, they actually measure the weed out. They like put it on a scale, and it says a gram, you're actually gonna get a gram. You get an 8, you actually get an 8. Here in New York, they just kind of eyeball the shit. Like, okay, you get in, you like look at it, you're like, you do know that I gave you a 20, right? And he's like, that is a 20. And you're like, okay. Because, you know, drug dealers don't give out refunds, you know, like, you don't like you, so just deal with it. And then you walk away thinking like, okay, I'm never fucking going back to him again. And then a couple days go by, your other drug dealer doesn't hit you up, and then you're like, you find yourself walking down the street like, hey, can I get a 20? So then you get the 20, and it's crazy. So, now I moved to Queens. So getting weed in Queens is completely different, okay? There you actually have the guys that deliver. I got 2 delivery guys, okay? You got the first guy, he has a car, I call him up, he's at the house 10 minutes later, boom, got my weed. Okay, but then he always wants to do like a covert operation though. It's like 007 type shit. He's like, you walk down the street and you're gonna drop the money on the ground. And then I'm gonna put the weed like inside of like the mailbox of the neighbor that's like 2 doors down from you with the red door. But make sure don't no kids see you. Because he's like a drug dealer that has like a social conscience, you know, like he doesn't want people to know, you know. And then my other guy, he's completely different. He will just knock on my door like seamless. He like comes in on a bike. He's just like riding around Queens like this. And shit. And so he comes to my door on a bike, rings my doorbell, I go downstairs. He's like all in the lobby like, yeah, bro, did you like that last strain I gave you? Did you get real high? My neighbor's standing right there. I'm like, bro, this shit is illegal. Keep it on the low, you know? And then Buzz is kind of chubby. So like all of his weed strands are named like Girl Scout Cookie and Key Lime Pie and crazy. So I do miss California though, man. California, it was great. There, I was like a really serious spot. I actually had a prescription. Yes, I had a prescription for marijuana, medical marijuana. It was great. How do you get a prescription, you ask? Well, let me tell you. You go to the weed doctor. Yes, there are doctors specifically for weed, okay? You go there and you say, well, I'm a server and I have to lift these like big trays and then like my back hurts sometimes and then I get off really late and then it's hard for me to go to sleep. Boom, you got a weed prescription. So great, so great. So then, once you get the weed prescription, you're able to actually go to the weed stores. Like you have access to go to the weed store. Let me tell you, this shit will change your life. You walk in there and there's literally like fucking 30 different types of weeds, all different types of strands. You got the sativas, okay, those are the ones that give you like the head high, okay? Then you got the indicas, those are the ones that give you like a body high. Then you got the hybrid, those are the ones that are like kind of in the middle. Now I like indicas because I like to have my whole body feel high. Like, you know, it's like a whole body high, okay? So then they take the weed out and they'll like put it under this microscope and you can see like all the THC crystals and shit. And you're just like, wow. And they're like, this is the stuff that the cancer patients smoke. And you're like, I want some of that shit. And so then, if you go at the right time, it's like happy hour. Yes, you heard me correctly. There is actually happy hour for weed. It's crazy. So during weed happy hour, here's what happens. You get your $35 eighth, and they're like, oh, okay, now you're going to get a free joint. And then after the free joint, now you're going to get a free edible. And then they're like, actually today, we're giving out free dabs of wax. And you're like, free dabs of wax? If you don't know what wax is, let me explain to you, okay? So there is a liquid form of marijuana, okay? It has to be like super duper heated, okay? It's like crazy. So you got, and so the free dabs of wax, they'll say, hey, you want a free one? And do you have time to medicate? And you're like, time to medicate, which is code for do you want to smoke? So then they start heating up the wax, right? They like that uses blowtorch. And you have to like use it like a bomb, right? It's like this big bomb, you have to go up there, you have to like, now, side note, they call me baby lungs. Like everybody that I smoke with, because as soon as I hit the weed, like, I'll cough up a lung, okay? It's just it fucking happens, okay? I can't help it, but I'm a pothead, I can't help it. So they start like lighting up the weed, and then all of a sudden you hear like the bubbles, like, and then so you start like sucking it in, like. And that is why I do not do wax hits out of control. Oh, my last note, word of advice. Do not ever, ever, ever buy weed in Times Square. Here is why. One time I got weed in Times Square and the motherfucker sold me oregano. I was like, is this like some spices or some shit? You guys, that's my time. Thank you so much. It's been a fantastic